In this video, I hope to give a partial explanation for why some wars do not fit perfectly into the 80-year war cycle. So if you're familiar with my thesis about the 80-year war cycle, you'll see it in front of you. 1781, fake American Revolutionary War ends. Add 80. 1861, hoax Civil War begins. Add 80. 1941, hoax World War II begins. Add 80. And it brings you into the present moment of another war of a different nature. One like people have not been familiar with. Okay? So that's one gear in the three-gear system. The other gear is the Constitution, and the other gear is corporation. So why is it that some of the wars do not fit perfectly into the 80-year war cycle? To answer that question, I have to take you to the population. Now, as years go on, the population is increasing. Okay, so you see in 1900, 76 million, the year 2000, 282 million. The increase of the number of individuals inhabiting the land requires that more wars occur. Now, why is that? Because the debt needs to increase. Now, it sounds terrible to say that, because we, the inhabitants of the land, we strive and want to live for as little debt as possible. But the controllers wish to make the debt as great as possible on all inhabitants of the land. So as the population increases, the need for more wars increases. So I'm going to propose that what happens is that other war cycles develop. Now I'm going to affirm that the 80-year war cycle is still in effect. In fact, if you follow the 80-year war cycle from 1781 up to the present moment, you'll see it's absolutely perfectly on target with our current situation of a war against an invisible enemy and incurring an incredible debt. Perhaps the debt will be even far greater than as if the war was with bombs and bullets and uniforms. The uniforms are a little different, and the type of ammunition or shots is a little different in the year 2021. But going back to this concept, the concept of other war cycles existing side by side with the 80-year war cycle. So one that I've identified is a 50-year war cycle. So if you take the year 1941, World War II, add 50, that takes you to 1991, First Gulf War. Now we'll go down and we'll look at Korea. Take you down. Okay, sorry about that. Not the best camera crew here. These movies are not funded with any funds. There's no monetization on any channel that I have. I've never ever wanted to produce any videos to, quote, make any money. My reward is to just present some truth to you and for allow you to absorb it and to maybe apply it and then maybe to build on it in some way. So the second example of this 50-year war cycle is the Korean War ending. Well, actually it never ended, so it's not proper to talk about it ending, but it might be best to use kind of a designated ending of a standstill of 1953. So rather than 1951, if we put 1953 Korea, add 50, that takes us to 2003. And guess what happens in 2003? The second Gulf War. So there may be other war cycles occurring, maybe a 40-year war cycle, a 30-year war cycle. I haven't done the math. I haven't looked at everything. I'm only trying to answer a question, what about other wars? And how do the other wars fit into the war cycle, the 80-year war cycle? Now keep in mind that all of this is about creating debt so that the debt that's created by the false wars will go onto the heads of the corpses with orations. That would be your name in capital letters. So you can see in my little chart there with the yellow that you have the phony wars, one wheel or one gear. You have the constitutions, another wheel or gear, and the corporation, the big corporation, which is US of A, but the little corporations that are under the big corporation, and that would be your name in capital letters on all your documents, okay? Because that creates the corpse with the oration, the capitalization of your name. So back to the overall picture. You have three wheels or three cycles. You have the war cycle in the middle. Then you have the corporation cycle over there on the left, and then you have the constitution cycle over here on the right. And keep in mind that a constitution is just a contract. And that's what pins the debt on the heads of those corpses with orations. In other words, your name in capital letters. And then the different cons that have been conducted. Hopefully I've identified correctly 4 every 70 years. And they do this by changing something in the title. So for example, going from the first con to the second con, it was Constitution for the United States of America. The second con was the Constitution of the United States of America. Okay, so there's the con cycle, the war cycle, and then of course the corporation cycle. And as population increased, more and more inhabitants of the land, the greater the need for more debt. the greater the need for more debt, the more wars that are faked. And hence you have the same three mechanisms at work. I'd like to thank you for watching this video and a video.